Good morning, Americans. This is your favorite alien and Bubba here on the afternoon of Sunday, January 19th, 2020. Well, wanted to do a video to conclude the Federalist, and it's going to be the legacy of the Federalist. Well, it's been 220 years since the Federalists ceased to be a power to our country, with the loss to Adams lost to Jefferson in the 1800 election. In the last 220 years, the legacy of the Federalists have been uh, one party with such a low base as the Federalists cannot succeed. And the Republicans are becoming that. Especially Trump, his base is only 30% and it's only localized to certain things. Okay? Uh, the Democrats are becoming that because they're getting fractured. But on the other hand, the legacy of the Federalists have been good for the American system. Because today you live in a Hamiltonian Jeffersonian society. Hamiltonian meaning your money. The way you act with your profit, or as you call it, capitalism, that's Hamilton's doing. And the way the court system and the federal government and laws, that is mostly Jefferson. And you have Thomas Jefferson to thank for that, but you also have Alexander Hamilton. Because if Hamilton hadn't interfered in the election of 1800 and thrown his support to Jefferson over Aaron Burr, you would have had a lot worse American system today than you do. Thomas Jefferson, when he got elected president, who did he appoint to the Supreme Court Justice of the Supreme Court? John Marshall, a very staunch Federalist. I mean, of all the Supreme Court justices going into the office, John Marshall had very much political. He was a Federalist to the core. And he ruled that way, which saved the Constitution. It made the Supreme Court as powerful as it is today. Before John Marshall, the Supreme Court was a joke. After John Marshall, it became a reputable institution with lows, ups, and downs. With Chief Justice Turney, with the Dred Scott decision in 1857. Oh, that was a low point in the Supreme Court there. But then again, a couple years later, under Samuel P. Chase and the impeachment of Andrew Johnson, the Supreme Court played a big role there. Samuel P. Chase he kept those radical Republicans in line and more or less gave them conscience, something that John Adams had and Donald John Trump does not. Because if you notice, Adams, when he left office, he disliked Jefferson. He didn't stick around for Jefferson's inauguration. He left before it even started. That morning, he left. He didn't even go have coffee with Jefferson. And what is Trump going to do when he loses the election of 2020? Is he going to do the same thing Adams did and away he goes? But see, other justices, Wendell Holmes, former President William Howard Taft, and Chief Justice Taft, he okayed the Supreme Court. And then Warren Burger, Rehnquist, and now Roberts. They have done pretty good for the Supreme Court, established their power. So that is a Federalist legacy. And the Federal Reserve System is more or less a Hamiltonian legacy. He would have approved that. You see, Americans, this is what I'm saying. But if that 220 years later, here we are with Donald J. Trump trying to revive the Federalist, the bad part of the Federalist, which cost him power and re-election. And then you got Mr. Pence, his vice president. Poor Mr. Pence. How can you survive an administration where you have shocks every day, up and down? You don't know where you're going. Mr. Pence, are you going to be around for another, if you're going to be around for the second term of Trump, or are you going to resign? And what happens if they do impeach Trump? Are you going to be the 46th president of the United States and planned a election with these bad Democrats? See, 220 years, we still are in the same position we were in 1798 and 1800. This is your favorite alien, and Bubba. This is the legacy of the Federalists. Good day.